2 months ago, a video appeared online showing a prototype for a new survival game. Set in a unique universe with breathtaking visuals, this game instantly caught my attention. While this video was essentially a proof of concept for potential publishers, the devs claimed that approximately 90% of the footage was of them actually in-game. Though they're still at the very early stages of development, there's a lot of promise in this concept, so I'll go over some of the points that make me excited for the future of Towers. The first thing that most people will notice about any video game is the design and overall visual style. Towers is obviously a breathtaking game, and the graphics stare back at you like some sort of weird rock thing with an eye. Seriously, what is that? The element that makes Towers stand out instantly is its wholly original aesthetics. The way that the environment and its inhabitants come together creates an exciting world that I can't wait to explore. Survivor games often have a similar gameplay loop to each other. Gather supplies, build a home, and try not to get killed. Towers may not stray too far from this, but the additional component that creates a seemingly more emergent gameplay loop is that you have to care for the world around you. Instead of plonking down a house and storing loot away like some sort of autumnal squirrel, you're required to help bring life to the land around you. Originally, when you start playing Towers, the location you start in will be relatively barren, with very little in the way of flora and fauna. However, as you start to grow new species of flowers and plants, small critters will arrive to bask in the glory of the oasis you have created. This in turn will help the ecosystem grow, and the synergy between your actions and the wildlife that arrives to enjoy your hard work will continue to grow, eventually attracting much larger creatures. Once you have created a living ecosystem, you'll have a wide array of creatures around to interact with. Mounts are a feature in the game, so attracting creatures that benefit you will be a huge aspect of the gameplay. Alongside riding your creatures, you can use beasts of burden to create caravans to help you transport supplies. Though this is just speculative, it would make sense that larger creatures can bear heavier loads, allowing for easier transport. To advance your civilization, you'll be required to use the benefits of your ecosystem. This means that growing a huge tree, while amazing for wildlife, might be more important as building materials to your tribe. You will have to weigh up the effects of deforestation against the way it will alter your ecosystem. Maybe tearing down particular plants will lead to no longer attracting certain useful animal companions. Alongside this, I think that the more you build up your civilization and your towers, the more likely you are to attract threats, which brings me to my next point. If you're a survival connoisseur, like I consider myself to be, then no doubt you have had many occasions where PvP has wrecked your time in a game. While that aspect can be fun, Towers are straying from the norm and building the entire game around a PvE model. This means that you won't have to worry about players giving you a hard time. With that in mind, it's not to say that you won't have to defend yourself. There are enemies that will try to destroy all that you have worked for, meaning that you and your tribe will have to work together to fend off the threat. Citing Princess Mononoke as a direct inspiration for Towers, the main antagonist seemed to be some sort of blight that follows huge skeletal warriors. This blight will attempt to return the land to its barren state. How you fend off such a huge enemy is yet to be revealed, but this raises the stakes of the game, and ensures that it's not just a farming simulator. You'll have to fight to reap what you sow. Alongside this, it appears that some creatures will also be hostile, meaning that even before you encounter the blight, you may have to kill to survive. Many who play games such as Rust or other survival games will no doubt have encountered the dreaded server restart, losing all your work and progress and starting from square one again. This is often to shift the balance of power amongst players and ensure no single group of people continue to remain the top dogs on a server. Towers will have a similar idea, but this will actually play into the core gameplay loop. There is a win and lose state, which I believe is related to the huge blight enemies. If you defend yourselves from the threat, you win. If you don't, you lose. You may be asking, why is this game called Towers? Well, despite the fact that it could just be a placeholder name, meaning there is potential for the name to change sometime during development, Towers actually play a pivotal role in the game. So what does the name Towers refer to? Well, it's actually two things. One is the towers that you and your tribe will build. These tall structures will come with particular benefits. While I can't actually list any of these specific benefits, it is clear that your tribe will want to have access to these huge buildings. However, over-harvesting your land will lead to the death of your carefully crafted ecosystem, meaning that you'll have to find the balance. The second thing that the name Towers refers to is huge towering trees that will have their own set of unique perks. Namely, the abilities to grow rare fauna and attract rarer creatures to consume them. These trees will be a difficult thing to maintain in themselves, as you will have to take care of them and ensure they grow uninhibited. To really help strike that perfect balance between building your own home and not over-harvesting the local area, you'll be required to trade with other players. Where you build your home will only have finite resources. You may have access to certain materials, but not others. For example, maybe you live next to ore-rich deposits, but this means you don't have access to a good food supply. Finding another tribe who has what you need and are willing to trade will play a key part in Towers. For this reason, I'm glad that PvP is not a component of the game. Too often when you trust another group of players, they'll betray you, so the idea of players actually working together seems very appealing. Don't get me wrong, we all like to have those tense encounters, but not every survivor game has to have that. This also lends itself well to the concept of a trading caravan, and that loading up your creature with a decent amount of supplies will make the journey worth the trip. This also means that you and a few other of your tribe members will likely want to plan out your route and ensure that all the supplies reach their destination. With all this in mind, the FAQ on the official Towers Discord states that you could play this game solo, meaning that trading is not essential to the gameplay. Though there is not much info on this yet, quests are stated to be in the game, with NPCs giving them to you. Lore should be tied to these quests, giving you some backstory to the world of Towers as you play, as well as unique tasks and rewards. It may even be that you have to form relationships with particular NPCs to unlock these quests. Maybe you can make this cute little grump your friend. With the world being as much a character in this game as any other part, the way you get around is a key component. Things such as climbing, a la Shadow of the Colossus, or gliding like in Breath of the Wild. Two games that are also direct inspirations for Towers. In a world as fascinating as this, it's the small gameplay mechanics that make exploration exciting. And Towers seems to have several ways of navigating the world. Obviously there's also a mount system, and while there is no guarantee that these clips show actual tamed creatures, the fact that you can ride on the back of these behemoths is amazing. There is also a point in the prototype trailer that shows a player underwater fending off a swarm of leech-type creatures by emanating some sort of light. On top of all this, the developers are very keen to let the community help shape the game. Throughout all of Towers' social media, the developers and community manager are very keen on finding out what people want from the game, whether it be through polls or suggestion threads. They've even let members of the community actually input their own creativity into the game. Looking for members of the community who are willing to help either write lore or design new masks for in-game characters. Most of the best games these days are developed by people who are willing to let the community have their say, and Towers is no different. Even though there is already a lot to dissect in the information we've been given, there is plenty more to come. The most exciting thing about Towers for me personally is that there's so much more to find out about this game. Now clearly it's not a great idea to overhype yourself about any game, much less one that is still just a concept, but there's a promising amount of thought and preparation behind this title. It's also worth stating that Dreamlit Entertainment also has experience. They are the studio behind Hawken, a much loved but short-lived mech fighting game. It may be a long time before we actually get our hands on this game, but already it seems like Towers has grabbed the attention of not only the gaming press, but many thousands of potential players. If you want to keep an eye on its development, I highly suggest joining the official Discord, the Facebook page, and other social media. I'll leave links in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, leave me a like and a comment. Thanks for watching, and I hope to trade seeds and fish with you one day in Towers.